morning. The purpose of this video is to walk you through how to do a box plot by hand and also a modified box plot. So I have some data from our textbook in a table that I've created in StatCrunch, which I will show you how to do at the end of this video. The 5 numbers that we need in order to create a box plot are the min and the max, Q1 and Q3, and also your median. So to set this up, we need a number line. Our number line needs to start with our minimum value and contain our maximum value. Since our minimum value is 127, I'm choosing to start at 125 to best represent and do tick marks quickly. So I'm going to go by 25s. So 1, 2, 3, 4 tick marks would put me at 225, and 1, 2, 3, 4 tick marks would put me at 325. And in theory, those tick marks should be equally spaced apart, but I'm not on graph paper, and we're just doing a sketch. The purpose of a box plot is to show how much the quartiles are spread out. So the way I handle this is that I come in now and I actually put dots for all my 5 numbers. So my min value is about 127, looks like about here. My max value is up here at 297. Q1 is at almost 150. Q3 is at 205. So here's 200, so maybe about here. And then our median is at 167. So this is 150, this is 175, so maybe about here. So you can see I just put 5 dots across the top of this number line. Now, the box is created with Q1 and Q3 as the endpoints of the box. The median is a vertical line inside that box. And then you draw whiskers to the min and the max. And ta-da, there's your box plot. You can see that Q3 and Q4 have more spread in them than Q1 and Q2. So this is not symmetrical data at all. Okay, now, because Q4 has such a long tail to it, I have a suspected outlier here. So the way we test for an outlier is we look at the IQR, which is Q3 minus Q1. So to do that, we need the 205, 5, minus the 149.5. And that's a difference of how much? 56. Then we take the IQR times 1.5. And when we do that, we get 84. This number then gets added and subtracted to the ends of your box. So if I take Q3 plus 84, that's the boundary for my outliers. And if I do Q1 minus 84, that would be the boundary for my outliers below Q1. Well, Q1 is so small, we're not even going to check for outliers there. But Q3 was 2055 plus the 84 would put us at 289.5. So now we need to actually see the data in order to decide this. Well, I'm going to take you into StatCrunch and show you what I did. I went to StatCrunch, I clicked on Data Sets from my textbook. I went to Chapter 2, and I actually pulled a problem from the homework section on page 78. Page 78, number 53, has the data set already dumped into StatCrunch. It's the number of hospital beds in 24 different hospitals. You can't quite see all of them on your screen, and they're not in order. So we're going to order them by going to Data and Sort. We're also going to order in descending order because we're interested in the upper end. And we were looking at values that were higher than 289.5. And there's only one, the 297. So I'm going to come back in here, and the 297 is now an outlier. And the value that was just below that, so let me show you that again. the value that was just below that on the screen is the 262. So I need that one also. 262 is going to act like my new max. The max is still the 297, but my whisker is going to end at 262 now. So if I can make some room up here, I'm going to draw it in a different color. Let's do purple. I still have the min here. I still have Q1 to Q3 here with the median. But what happens with Q4 is the whisker won't go all the way to the end. So here's my outlier. And then my new max is 262. So here's 250, here's 275, somewhere maybe here is where we'll stop the whisker. And so what that does for me is it shows me, well, there's not quite as much spread in Q4 as I thought because of this outlier that's right here. So this is called a modified box plot. Now, we can get StatCrunch to do that. So if you'd like to keep watching, I'm going to show you how to do this in StatCrunch. Otherwise, I'm finished with you. Have a nice day. But I come back into StatCrunch to my data, and I go to Graph. There's a box plot choice. And if I just click on hospital beds, and I just tell it to compute, I get a vertical box plot. That's not quite what we had drawn, but you can see the shape is the same. It just goes up instead of sideways. So if I click on Edit, I can draw under Other Options, draw boxes horizontally. And ta-da, there you go. I can do this one more time, and I can get it to modify it for outliers. It's done here under Other Options, use fences. And when I click Compute, it'll draw my outlier for me. So it's already run the test for outliers. Anyway, hope that helps. Thanks. Have a great day.